Have you ever woken up in a cold sweat after dreaming you were standing in the middle of a crowd, completely naked? Your heart races. Your hands instinctively try to cover yourself, and you can feel every pair of eyes staring at you. It's one of the most common and unsettling dreams people have, and it can leave you feeling exposed long after you've opened your eyes. But here's the truth. This dream isn't just about nudity. It's about exposure, emotional, social, and even spiritual. When you dream of being naked in public, your subconscious is pulling back the curtain on your deepest feelings of vulnerability. It might be tied to a fear of judgment, a moment in life where you feel unprepared, or even the pressure of living up to others' expectations. Psychologists suggest that this dream often appears when we're entering a new chapter in life, starting a new job, moving to a new city, or stepping into a relationship where we feel seen in ways we can't control. Spiritually, some interpret it as a sign of authenticity, your soul urging you to live without masks, even if it feels uncomfortable. The fascinating part? In some cultures, dreaming of public nudity isn't about shame at all. It's a symbol of truth, purity, or the shedding of old roles. So, if you've ever found yourself bare in the middle of your dream world, it's not just random embarrassment. It's your inner self sending you a message you might be too busy or too afraid to notice while awake. The core symbolism, vulnerability on display. Picture this. You're walking through a busy street, people everywhere, voices blending into a constant hum. Then, suddenly you look down and realize you're completely naked. No clothes. No shield. Every eye turns to you. Some stare in shock. Others whisper. Your heart races, your skin burns, and your only thought is to hide, but there's nowhere to go. This is one of the most visceral, universally recognized dream scenarios, and it's no accident that it feels so real. When you dream of being naked in public, your subconscious is putting your deepest sense of vulnerability right in the spotlight. Clothes, in waking life, are more than fabric. They are armor. They signal our identity, protect our modesty, and act as a buffer between us and the world. When they're gone in a dream, you are symbolically stripped of every defense, every mask, every layer you use to feel safe. Psychologically, this often reflects moments in life when you feel emotionally or socially exposed. Maybe you've started a new job and feel out of your depth. Maybe you've entered a new relationship and the real you is being revealed. Or maybe you made a mistake that you're worried people will notice. Your mind translates that fear into the rawest image it can, total nakedness. But it's not just about fear. Being naked in a dream also forces you to confront a question. Who are you without the labels, roles, and appearances you build around yourself? This can be terrifying, but it can also be liberating. Sometimes, the dream is less about humiliation and more about truth, showing you what it's like to exist without pretense. In this sense, the dream can swing between two extremes. At one end, it's a nightmare of exposure, screaming, "I'm not ready to be seen like this." At the other, it's a silent declaration of self-acceptance. This is who I am, and I have nothing to hide. That's the paradox. The same image can feel like a prison or a breakthrough, depending on where you are in your life. Your subconscious isn't just showing you skin. It's showing you your relationship with vulnerability itself, shame and the fear of judgment. In dreams, being naked in public isn't just about the absence of clothes. It's about the presence of eyes, the stares, the whispers, the pointed fingers. The audience in your dream is often a mirror for your own inner critic, reflecting back every insecurity you've been carrying. Shame is one of the most primal emotions we can feel, and your subconscious knows exactly how to trigger it. Think about it. In waking life, shame is tied to the fear of not belonging, of being cast out from a group. For our ancestors, exclusion from the tribe meant danger, even death. That ancient survival instinct still hums in our minds, which is why a dream about public nakedness can feel so intense and threatening. The The people in your dream may be strangers, or they could be familiar faces, friends, co-workers, family members. If they're strangers, the dream often reflects a more generalized social anxiety, the fear of being judged by the world at large. If they're people you know, your mind might be pointing toward a more personal source of judgment. Maybe you're worried about how someone close to you will see the real you, or you feel your reputation is at risk. Sometimes, the crowd in your dream doesn't react at all. They just ignore you. This can be even more unsettling because it symbolizes a fear of being invisible or irrelevant that no one even notices when you're at your most vulnerable. But here's where it gets interesting. Shame in dreams often magnifies emotions that you might be suppressing during the day. Maybe you brushed off an embarrassing moment, telling yourself it didn't matter. Or maybe you've been hiding a part of yourself, an opinion, a feeling, a truth, because you're afraid it will be rejected. The dream strips away your defenses and puts you right in the center of that fear, forcing you to feel it fully. Understanding this layer is crucial because shame isn't always a sign you've done something wrong. It can also be a sign that you're afraid to live authentically. Your subconscious might be asking, what would happen if you stop hiding? Would the world reject you, or would it finally see you? Authenticity and self-acceptance. At its core, the naked in public dream is a raw metaphor for authenticity, being completely seen for who you are without the armor of social masks, curated personas, or carefully chosen words. In waking life, we spend so much time controlling how others perceive us, the clothes we wear, the tone of voice we use, even the pieces of our personality we choose to share. But in this dream, all of that is stripped away. There's no hiding, no posturing, just the unfiltered you. For many, that image sparks anxiety. But for others, it can actually feel liberating. If you woke up from a naked dream feeling free rather than embarrassed, your subconscious might be celebrating a breakthrough, a moment when you're stepping into your truth, letting go of the fear of judgment. This is often the case if you've recently made a decision that reflects your real values, ending a toxic relationship, changing careers, or finally speaking your mind. The dream might also be pointing out the gap between who you are and who you pretend to be. When that gap grows too wide, your mind will often rebel. It will create scenarios like standing unclothed in a crowd to remind you that authenticity is the antidote to exhaustion. Pretending takes energy. Being yourself sets you free. Self-acceptance plays a big role here. If, in the dream, you stand tall despite your nakedness, maybe even walking proudly, this could signal growing confidence in your identity. It's your inner self saying, I'm done apologizing for who I am. But if you scramble to cover yourself or search for clothes, it suggests there are still parts of you you're not ready to reveal. Sometimes, the dream challenges you to ask, what parts of myself am I hiding? Why? The answer might be tied to past experiences where vulnerability led to pain, a childhood embarrassment, a betrayal, a moment of public failure. Your mind replays a feeling so you can examine it in a safe, symbolic space, preparing you to live with greater courage in waking life. Ultimately, this dream's message is clear. Self-acceptance isn't about being flawless. It's about being whole. When you learn to embrace your strengths and your flaws, your public nakedness no longer feels like exposure. It feels like truth. Fear of exposure and secrets being revealed. One of the most common emotional undercurrents in a naked in public dream is the raw, unsettling fear of being exposed. This doesn't always mean literal exposure. It often symbolizes a dread that something hidden about you might come to light. Maybe it's a secret, an insecurity, or even a mistake you've been trying to bury. In the dream, the absence of clothing becomes a metaphor for the absence of protection, leaving you vulnerable to judgment, gossip, or rejection. The setting of the dream often adds clues. If you're naked at work, it could connect to fears about your professional competence being questioned. If you're in a school environment, It might echo unresolved anxieties about past failures, social dynamics, or feeling unprepared for life's challenges. Even if the secret is small, the subconscious mind magnifies the feeling, turning it into a scene where the whole world seems to be staring. Sometimes, this fear is about more than just one hidden truth. It's about the weight of living with layers of pretense. You might feel that if people saw the real you with all your flaws and imperfections, they wouldn't accept you. The dream forces you to confront this idea head-on, stripping away the illusions and asking, what would actually happen if I stopped hiding? Interestingly, in some cases, the people in the dream don't react at all to your nakedness. They carry on as if nothing's unusual. This can be your subconscious testing your assumptions. Perhaps the fear of judgment is far greater in your mind than in reality. People might notice your flaws less than you think, or care less than your anxiety leads you to believe. There's also a cautionary side to this theme. If you're currently keeping something significant from others, this dream can serve as an early emotional alarm. It's your psyche reminding you that secrets tend to surface, and that the anxiety of hiding can be more damaging than the truth itself. Ultimately, the naked and exposed dream can be both a warning and an opportunity. It warns you about the emotional toll of concealment, but also offers a challenge to live in a way where, even if all is revealed, you can stand unshaken. Freedom from social norms and rebellion. Not all naked in public dreams are rooted in fear or shame. In some cases, they can feel liberating. In these versions, your lack of clothing isn't a nightmare, but a powerful statement of defiance against societal expectations. Instead of desperately looking for something to cover yourself, you stand tall, unashamed, even proud. This is your subconscious exploring the idea of breaking free from rules, roles, and reputations that no longer serve you. Dreams like this often emerge during moments of personal transformation, times when you're questioning authority, challenging traditions, or refusing to live within the boundaries others have set for you. Being naked symbolizes complete honesty with yourself and the world, a rejection of the costumes we were to fit in, uniforms, business attire, social masks, polite smiles that hide our true emotions. The setting in these dreams is also important. If you're walking naked through a crowded city and feel a sense of thrill or empowerment, it can reflect a growing comfort with self-expression, even in the face of disapproval. If you're at a formal event, like a wedding or a business meeting, the dream may be dramatizing your urge to disrupt rigid structures and point out the absurdity of certain social norms. From a psychological perspective, this dream can be a signal that you're tired of pretending, of filtering your opinions, hiding your personality, or following rules you never agreed to in the first place. Your subconscious is experimenting with the idea. What if I stop caring about how others see me? What if I let go of the pressure to conform? Of course, this form of rebellion isn't without risk. It may invite criticism, misunderstanding, or even conflict with those invested in maintaining the status quo. But for many, the liberation outweighs the potential backlash. The dream becomes a rehearsal for living boldly and authentically without apology. In its most empowering form, the naked and free dream is not about exposing your body, but about exposing your truth and standing in it without shame, reconnecting with your authentic self. In many naked and public dreams, the focus isn't humiliation or rebellion. It's an intimate, almost sacred return to your truest identity. Clothing in dreams often represents the roles we play: employee, parent, student, friend. Over time, these roles can start to overshadow the person underneath. When the dream strips you bare, it's symbolic of peeling away these layers to reveal the real you. This kind of dream tends to surface during life transitions, moments of introspection, or after an event that shakes you into reevaluating your priorities. The nudity here isn't threatening. It's revealing in the best way. It's as if your subconscious is saying, this is who you are without the masks, the performances, the borrowed expectations. The emotions you feel in the dream are key. If you're calm, serene, or even joyful while naked, it's a strong sign that you're moving towards self-acceptance. You're learning to embrace the parts of yourself that once felt unfit for the world's approval. If you notice other people in the dream ignoring your nudity or reacting positively, it might mean you're starting to believe that authenticity will draw acceptance, not rejection. This reconnection can also be deeply healing. For some, it might be the first time they've acknowledged forgotten passions, values, or dreams, parts of themselves buried under years of responsibility or social conditioning. For others, it's about facing vulnerabilities head-on and realizing they don't define your worth. Interestingly, some cultures and spiritual traditions see nakedness as a return to innocence, a state of purity, free from the corruption of ego and materialism. In this light, your dream may be nudging you to live with more transparency, honesty, and emotional courage. Ultimately, dreaming of being naked in this context is a celebration of self. It's not about exposing flaws. It's about revealing truth. And the more comfortable you become with that truth, the less power, fear, or shame will hold over you. The spiritual and symbolic meaning of nakedness in dreams. Across cultures and spiritual traditions, nakedness in dreams often transcend the personal and steps into the realm of the sacred. While modern interpretations may focus on embarrassment or vulnerability, ancient perspectives often saw being unclothed as a return to purity, a shedding of worldly attachments to reveal the soul's essence. In biblical and mythological imagery, nakedness sometimes represents truth before the divine. Adam and Eve, for example, were naked without shame until self-awareness brought judgment and fear. In this sense, your dream could be a spiritual invitation to strip away illusions and face life with an unguarded heart. It's about standing before existence exactly as you are, no pretenses, no protective armor, and trusting that this state is enough. From an energetic or metaphysical viewpoint, clothes and dreams can be seen as layers of ego and conditioning. When you dream of losing them, it might signal a spiritual awakening, a call to authenticity, enlightenment, or a higher self-connection. The act of being naked could mean you're moving into a phase of spiritual openness, where old belief systems or limiting identities are falling away. In some Eastern philosophies, this imagery is linked to the idea of detachment from material possessions and social roles. It's a reminder that your worth doesn't come from what you wear, what you own, or how you present yourself, but from your inherent being. There's also a symbolic link between nakedness and rebirth. Just as we enter the world unclothed, dreams of being naked can represent a spiritual renewal, a fresh chapter where you're ready to step into your life's purpose without the weight of others' expectations. If your dream carries a feeling of liberation or lightness, it may be affirming that you're aligned with your deeper spiritual path. If it carries discomfort, it could be a nudge to examine where fear of judgment is holding back your growth. Either way, the message is clear. Nakedness in dreams is not just about exposure. It's about unveiling the soul, when nakedness represents emotional release. Sometimes dreaming of being naked isn't about fear, embarrassment, or even spiritual awakening. It's about letting go. Clothing in dreams can act like symbolic armor, holding in emotions we've been suppressing. When the dream strips that away, it can signify a deep emotional release that your waking mind may not have been ready to face consciously. If the dream is accompanied by a sense of relief, peace, or even joy, it's a strong sign that you've been carrying a heavy emotional burden, and your subconscious is finally setting it down. This could be related to grief, unresolved anger, hidden sadness, or a secret you've been holding onto for too long. In this interpretation, the act of being naked is less about exposure to others and more about freeing yourself from your own internal restraints. Dreams like this often appear after a major emotional turning point, the end of a toxic relationship, a heartfelt confession, a personal breakthrough in therapy, or simply reaching a point where you refuse to keep pretending you're fine. The nakedness becomes a metaphor for emotional honesty, nothing left to hide, nothing left to defend. It can also represent a release from perfectionism or self-criticism. Many people live with an invisible weight of shoulds, how they should look, behave, or feel. Dreaming of being naked can be your mind's way of saying, you are enough as you are, without the layers of expectation. You're free to breathe, move, and be on a deeper psychological level. This dream may be telling you that vulnerability is not weakness. By releasing your grip on control and allowing yourself to be seen, flaws, wounds, and all, you open the door to healing. Emotional nakedness in dreams is a symbolic exhale, a clearing of the space inside you so something new and beautiful can take root. Nakedness as a symbol of starting over. In many dream interpretations, being naked can represent a clean slate, the purest form of starting over. Clothing in our waking life carries identity, status, and history. When your dream removes it, you're stripped of the past, free from labels, and ready to step into a new chapter without the baggage of what came before. This type of dream often surfaces during transitions, moving to a new city, beginning a different career path, leaving a long-term relationship, or even entering a new phase of self-discovery. The nakedness symbolizes that you're not bringing the old uniform with you. You're walking into the unknown with nothing but your raw, authentic self. Interestingly, these dreams can feel empowering rather than shameful. You might find yourself confidently walking through a crowd, unfazed by the lack of clothing. This confidence reflects a subconscious belief that you're prepared to rebuild, that your worth isn't tied to what you've lost, but to what you truly are. In some cases, the symbolism may also carry a spiritual undertone. Across various cultures, nakedness is associated with rebirth. Think of being born again or emerging from water in baptismal traditions. In this light, the dream becomes a metaphor for spiritual renewal, as if your old self has been shed like a skin you no longer need. However, starting over in dreams doesn't always come with comfort. Sometimes, the nakedness is paired with a sense of exposure or uncertainty. This simply reflects the natural anxiety that comes with new beginnings. Your subconscious is acknowledging the risks, while also reminding you of the freedom and potential that come with leaving the past behind. In short, dreaming of being naked as a symbol of starting over is your mind's way of saying, you have been reset. The page is blank, the canvas is empty, and you're the artist of whatever comes next. How to respond to naked in public dreams in real life. When you wake up from a naked in public dream, your first instinct might be to laugh it off, or to quickly try to forget the embarrassment. But these dreams can carry valuable insights, and responding to them with awareness can transform their meaning into something empowering. Step 1. Identify the emotion. Was the dream filled with shame and panic, or did you feel oddly confident and free? Your emotional response in the dream is the biggest clue. Fear may point toward anxiety about exposure or judgment in waking life, while calmness might indicate growing acceptance of your true self. Step 2. Connect it to your current life. Ask yourself, what am I hiding? Where do I feel vulnerable right now? Naked dreams often emerge when you're entering situations that demand authenticity, a new relationship, a career shift, or revealing a part of yourself you've kept private. Step 3. Address the underlying issue. If the dream feels linked to shame, work on reframing the situation in a positive light. Practice self-compassion. Remind yourself that imperfection is universal, and if possible, share your feelings with someone you trust. Vulnerability often loses its sting when it's met with empathy. Step 4. Use the dream as motivation. Nakedness in dreams can be a push toward honesty and openness. Consider where you might benefit from being more transparent, whether in relationships, creative work, or personal growth. Sometimes the scariest exposure leads to the most liberating breakthroughs. Step 5. Take control of the narrative. If this dream repeats often, visualize a different ending before sleeping. For instance, imagine standing confidently and smiling in the dream setting. Over time, your subconscious may adopt this empowered version, replacing fear with strength. In essence, naked in public dreams are not just about embarrassment. They are invitations to step into your life with more authenticity. Responding to them with reflection and courage can turn a moment of imagined vulnerability into a real-life breakthrough. Have you ever woken up from a dream that left you feeling exposed or vulnerable? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might help someone else understand their own dreams. And if you want to keep uncovering the hidden messages of your subconscious, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new dream interpretation.